Hello and a very warm welcome to St George's Anglican Church, Paris, for this short video in which I'm going to be showing you how, when we reopen for worship on Sunday the 31st of May, the Feast of Pentecost, we can do so safely. If you'd like to follow me inside, I'll show you what I mean. The first thing you'll notice when you arrive at St George's is that the doors are pushed open. There will be no need for anybody to touch a door handle over the next few weeks. We're really lucky that the weather is warm, which enables us to leave the doors open. Nobody needs to touch a door handle. When you come into St George's, you will be able to pick up a service paper, either for 8:30, Book of Common Prayer, or for the 9:30 or 11 o'clock services, where you will see a service paper much like normal. If you have arrived independently via your own transport, you may have forgotten your face mask, in which case we invite you to pick up one of these disposable masks. You must wear a mask in church. Singing is only possible if we all wear masks. If you would like to use some alcoholic gel, and if you have been travelling on public transport and feel like being sterilised, then you can wipe yourself down with one of these. Of course, we have missed Palm Sunday. Please help yourself to a palm cross. Once you have done that, we head on downstairs. All of the floors and handrails have been sterilised in this past week. It looks like it's much darker than it is, of course, here in church, but you'll recognise the landing table on which you will see the brass offertory plate. This plate will be to receive your offering before the service. During the preparation of the altar, your gifts will be taken up by a sidesperson and then returned immediately to the sacristy. There will be no passing of the usual little green bags. Please use this plate before the service starts in order to leave your gift. You'll see that the seating in church has been pushed together. So we have a back row, one middle row, and then one very front row. Each of the seats have been separated so that there is a seat to be used and then a seat which you are asked to respect the distance. This is, of course, unless you arrive with members of your household, in which case please sit together. If we have people arriving with entirely on their own, there are 30 seats in church. Clearly, people arrive in family groups and the numbers of people at St George's will be greater. As you can see, there are only a potential for 3 or 4 places on the side wall. I'll speak some more about how we're going to plan who's coming to church in a moment. We'll have only one server on Sunday to ensure that we can offer incense in our worship. Readers and intercessors will make their way to the lectern as usual, but everything will be printed out and placed in plastic sheets to ensure maximum hygienic practice. For communion, instead of using our usual wafers, communion will be given using these individual wafers. Somebody's bringing me a pair of sugar tongs and I'm going to practice giving out communion without actually touching the communion wafers. However, before communion is given out, despite having washed my hands immediately before the Eucharist, I will be using alcoholic gel to ensure that my hands are as clean as possible before Holy Communion. How's Holy Communion going to work? Well, if you're sat on the front row of church, it's clearly simply a matter of moving to our usual communion station. No queuing, simply stepping forward. If you're on the second row, can I suggest that you turn to your right and exit the row, moving to the communion station and then moving to your left so that you are lined up in order. The aim is to ensure that people don't cross over one another. I'm sorry, I'm not sure that this is very clear, but the sides people will be prepared, and it'll be pretty straightforward when you're doing it. The idea is, therefore, that you return to your place, if you are on that side of church, by heading towards the font and then back into your row, so that you don't have to cross over anybody and that you can receive Holy Communion safely. Again, people on the back row will do exactly the same by exiting into the middle aisle, into the main aisle, up to the front, lining up consecutively, and then returning back via the window aisle to the back row. No crossing over one another, no queue jumping, and doing so as safely as possible. On this side of church, can I suggest that people exit the side nearest to where the choir would be singing if we were having choral singing in church during this particular stage of the pandemic. Exit at this end, make your way up to the front, stand in the same relationship to one another as you were seated, and return to your places via the central aisle. Again, without queue jumping, without moving out of your place, so that nobody needs to cross over anybody else in their rows. I hope that's clear. You'll see at the end of each row a small blue plastic packet of antiseptic wipes. This is because between each service, worshippers are asked to cleanse their own seats and any of the seat in front that they may have touched using an antiseptic wipe. Use the bins provided and they will be cleared away between the services. Thank you. At the end of the Eucharist, when we have finished worshipping together for the first time, the congregation are going to be asked to exit church in a rather unusual way, simply by using the fire stairs through the back of church here. Again, the doors will be propped open, so there's no need to touch any doors. This door through to the loos, of course, will be propped open as well. Up the stairs until we get into the parish hall. So once you've exited the stairwell, you will leave St George's via the fire doors in the parish hall. Unfortunately, this coming Sunday, the 31st of May, is before the opening of the cafes, and so we will not be able to serve any refreshments this week. If you wish to exchange greetings on the road, let's just check for oncoming traffic. If you wish to exchange greetings on the road, please do so at a safe social distance. I hope you found this video helpful, and so you can see how we are going to be able to worship together as safely as possible this coming Sunday, the Feast of Pentecost. Clearly, as the situation develops and as the health advice changes, we will be able to make changes to our practice here at St George's. The most important thing is that you feel safe and secure in your church. So, a couple more points, if I may. Nobody should feel guilty about not coming to church. Okay, so all of our learning has said that worshipping together as Christians on the Lord's Day it should be the highest priority. I get that, but at the moment, nobody should feel guilty about not coming to church. I am going to be working hard to ensure that those who, because of age or underlying health conditions, are remaining isolated over the coming weeks, receive Holy Communion in a safe way at home. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, whilst we only have approximately 30 seats for individuals in church, it's going to be necessary to ask people to indicate which service they're going to attend And at the moment I am working tirelessly to try and find a way of doing that. Please check your inboxes in order that you can respond by email to the invitation from St George's Church Paris. Please don't email me individually. If you do that, I will spend all my time trying to create paper lists and the system will break down. So we're trying to do it in an efficient electronic fashion so that everybody knows easily which service they can attend. Clearly what we want to do is to avoid the situation that we have 10 people at 9:30 and 40 individuals at 11 o'clock, which means we have to turn 10 people away. So God bless. I'm sure it will work out. Please bear with us as we try and iron out the details, and I look forward to seeing those of you who feel you can worship with us in church again this coming Sunday. Okay, God bless.